Good old Pac-Man. Is there anything I can say about Pac-Man? An arcade classic, an arcade legend, released in 1980. Is there anything that I can really say about this game that hasn't been said already? Is there anybody on this planet that isn't an infant that doesn't know what this game is? You see, I feel like Pac-Man is one of those games where you have to know that it exists. There's no way that you can go through life and not know that this game exists. This game is so legendary that your parents have played it, your grandparents have played it, and your great-grandparents have probably played it as well. It doesn't matter what generation you're from, how old you are, no matter if you're man or woman, boy or girl. It doesn't matter if you're a casual gamer or a hardcore gamer, or even if you're a gamer at all. You still know that Pac-Man exists. Even if you've never even played it before, you somehow know that this game exists. And if you don't know that this game exists, then you've probably been living under a rock. Which is something that I don't normally say, but I feel like Pac-Man just has that legendary status. I think my parents are actually part of the reason why I enjoy these classic Namco arcade games so much. Because as I mentioned in my Galaxian video, I believe, my first exposure to all these Namco arcade games was through Namco Museum for the Game Boy Advance. And when I was a kid, the Game Boy Advance was the first console that I've ever owned. Well, it's a handheld console, but it's the first gaming device that I've ever owned. Which is ironic that I bring it up because the Namco Museum collection for Game Boy Advance doesn't even have Pac-Man on it. It has other Namco games on it. It just doesn't have Pac-Man because there's a Pac-Man collection on Game Boy Advance as well that got released around the same time. But I think it's my mom or my sister that really put me on to these games because they've been alive, obviously, way longer than I have. My sister's about 13 years older than I am, so she has known about these games way before I was even a thought in somebody's head. Me being possibly the biggest gamer in my family that I know, a lot of these old arcade classics from Namco were the only ways I could bond with my mom and my sister video game wise, other than Super Mario Brothers or Sonic the Hedgehog. And it would always be an absolute great time. The last time I played Pac-Man with my family was earlier this year for my birthday. My sister, nieces, and nephew came over and we all played Pac-Man together, and it was a pretty amusing time. And even though it's a game where you take turns, as like multiplayer wise, it's a game that the whole family could play and just have a great time. But it's also very particularly fun and challenging when you're playing it by yourself. And when you're playing this game by yourself, that competitive nature in you just comes out as you try and compete with yourself to try and beat your high score every single time. It's one of those games that doesn't have a goal, any goals for that matter, but you can set your own personal goals. Well, you could beat the first 2 levels. If you get a game over at round 3, you can start over and try and get to round 5, and then try and get to round 10, and see how far you can go, if you can get that far. But I may be getting ahead of myself because I haven't even talked about the gameplay itself yet. But let me just say, if you've never played Pac-Man before and you don't know how to play this game, do yourself a favor, find a platform that is available on, because I'm pretty sure it's on everything now. It's probably on the device that you're using to watch this video. It's a very simple game. You play as a yellow spherical dude named Pac-Man, and he's roaming around this maze, and there's a bunch of Pac-Dots, and he likes to eat them because they're delicious to him. And he can also collect fruit that appear after you collect a certain amount of those Pac-Dots. But while you're eating, there's 4 ghosts that stand in your way that live in this small house in the middle of the maze, and they roam around the maze, and they are hunting for you, and they are out to kill you. You cannot run away, but there is a way to defend yourself from the ghosts. In the 4 corners of the maze, there are these giant Pac dots called power pellets. When Pac-Man eats these, the ghost will turn blue, and he will be able to eat the ghosts. After Pac-Man eats a ghost, that ghost will make its way back into the ghost house to regenerate another body. One of the things that took me a very long time to learn is that Pac-Man actually moves slow when he's eating Pac dots, which gives the ghost the opportunity to catch up to him and attack him. Yes, I know, it should be pretty obvious, and I should have realized this a long time ago, but I wasn't really playing Pac-Man to study it, was I? But when there's no Pac dots in the area, it gives Pac-Man the opportunity to outrun the ghosts, which are usually slower than Pac-Man if there's no Pac dots in your way. The fruits that are displayed at the bottom of the screen are not only indications of what bonus fruit that you'll be able to collect in the round that you're in, but it also indicates the round that you're on. I believe in order to receive an extra man, you would have to get 10,000 points, I think. And that's the only time you'll be able to receive an extra man, for some reason. I don't know, to me it's kinda disappointing that you can't get any more than 1 extra life in this game after garnering so many points at a time. Probably because they don't really want you to play the game for so long when you're in the arcade. They probably don't want you to get so far into the game while you're in the arcade. They just want players to rack up those coins so they can get some money. And it works too, because this game is pretty difficult, and it gets even harder the further you go. I mean, that's how all video games work, obviously, but this game is hard. These ghosts are tricky, they are conniving, they are flankers, they are ambushers, and the smallest jitter or choke that you make can be a big mistake. Oh hey, that rhymed. Bars. Another thing I should point out about the power pellet system is that the further you make it into the game, the weaker the power pellet's influence on the ghosts weakens. And it gets to a point where the power pellet's influence only lasts for maybe a second. If you get to round 17, specifically round 17, the power pellets don't even work at all. It only makes the ghosts turn around. If not at all, it does absolutely nothing. You just have to collect it because you're required to collect the power pellets too. When I was a kid, there was this debate in my family or close friends where I think the debate took place in school as well for people who knew about Pac-Man when I was a kid, where whether you had to collect the power pellets or not. Let me just say that I am living proof, and I have video evidence from not only 2015, but now, where you have to collect the power pellets in this game. The power pellets in this game count as Pac dots. They're just big Pac dots. I wonder if that's still an ongoing debate, because I haven't been keeping up with the internet in terms of Pac-Man lately. That being said, if you're wondering exactly how I made it to round 17, let me just start off by saying this. I originally, when I was first making this video, I played the Namco Museum Volume 1 for PS1 version of Pac-Man, which is not exactly the original arcade version, but is pretty close to it. I decided not to use the footage for the video. It was gonna be a completely different video, a worse video in my opinion, but I ended up making the video that you guys are currently watching today. The gameplay I originally recorded was not very good at all. It was the crappiest gameplay of Pac-Man that you'll probably see. I mean, there's probably worse gameplays than I probably had. You won't see it, but it sucked. And I'm actually recording this commentary the same day that I re-recorded some Pac-Man gameplay, which was earlier today. I was playing the Pac-Man Museum version for Nintendo Switch, and it has a save feature to where you can stop on a specific round, and you can quit the game, and you can start from that round from the beginning. So I abused the crap out of that. I will admit, I abused it because there was no way I was going to actually be able to get to round 20. Yes, round 20. Beat 20 rounds of Pac-Man in one sitting without losing the amount of lives that I lost. I couldn't even count how many times I messed up on one round. There were so many times where I quit the game and tried to play through it again because I was trying not to get a game over. I was trying to clear round 20, and I reached my goal, and I even got over 50,000 points. I got over 70,000 points. It was a nightmare the way the game was getting more and more difficult, to the point where the power pellets don't even freaking work anymore. But yeah, I abused the crap out of that save feature. There was no way I was going to ever get to round 20 with 3 or 4 lives. I'm not that good at the game. I died a lot. I spent 4 hours trying to get to round 20 without getting a game over. If it wasn't for the save feature that Pac-Man Museum has, there's no way. There's no freaking way. The furthest I was going to get was round 5 or 6, and that would have been the end of it. Maybe round 7, maybe round 8. I don't know. That's as far as I would be able to get. There's no way I was gonna get any further than that. This game really had me using my brain today. I didn't think I would be studying different patterns and pathways that I could take, to the point where it actually influenced the ghost behaviors. Whenever I had a chance, I would use the power pellets to distract the ghosts so I could collect more Pac dots, instead of eating the ghosts to get extra points, because I knew I wasn't going to ever get another extra life throughout the game ever again, which rendered the score completely pointless. But as I said earlier, there is a personal satisfaction to getting such a high score, or even beating your previous high score, besting your personal best. One thing I will say about the power pellets, and I know I'm jumping from one thing to another in this video, it's completely unscripted, by the way, in case you're wondering. But one thing I'll say about the power pellet system is that I really feel like it had an influence or inspiration or in the invincibility systems that we would later see in a lot of platformers later on down the line, like Super Mario Brothers, Sonic the Hedgehog, or Kirby. Because as far as I know, Pac-Man is one of those games that were first in line to introduce this sort of invincibility type of system with the power pellets and eating ghosts. Because it's a type of system where it gives you a temporary advantage, offensive advantage, over your opponents. Now, I haven't really done any research on that to confirm this. I'm pretty sure if I tried to do a Google search, I probably wouldn't get the results that I want. But that's just something that I thought about as I was making this video. It's a little thought that I put too much thought into, but a thought nonetheless, and I figured I'd add it to this video. I think I've pretty much said all I wanted to say about Pac-Man. I'm actually way more satisfied with how this video turned out as opposed to the original video I was going to put on YouTube. This video is going to be way better. and I'm glad you guys are going to be able to see it. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Anybody that sees this video, let me know what your memories of Pac-Man are, if you have any memories of it. If you've never played Pac-Man before, do yourself a favor. Stop playing Fortnite. Stop playing Call of Duty. Stop playing GTA. Whatever you're playing, stop playing it. Whatever modern game you're playing, stop playing it. And go play Pac-Man. You don't have to thank me. You don't have to tell anybody that CD sent you. Just go play Pac-Man. If you never played it before, go play it. That's pretty much all I have to say for this video. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next one. And have a blessed day.